Okay, let's get my self-abuse over with. Now, this is video clips that I've edited together from Steve's You Had Asked number 242, which was uploaded on May 26th, 2017. And as you can imagine, Steve is still very much reeling from the whole Lacey Green crisis. It's very triggering to him. It's very upsetting to him. So let's watch this video. I've cut it up a little bit. There are several questions or several answers he says, or you know what I mean, in this video that I want to go over. So I cut it up, and we'll play it back, and pause it every now and then for commentary. So let's begin.
Steve here. It's the show where I answer your questions, and this week my first question comes from Umar Sories. I put this to Captain Andy, and...
Well, that was your first mistake.
And you know I've been saying this for years, so it's not new. My question is, how can every progressive, or feminist if you want, claim Lacey is wrong for her reaching out to have discussions with these monsters while we let the Kevin Logans and Christy Winters do it? How can anyone say there's a real difference, especially when I watch these hangouts and see how everyone is so polite to each other, including the monsters from the other side? The progressives are giving these creatures a platform same as Lacey Green, and it accomplishes pretty much the same thing. Nothing. I've seen these monsters also go back to their groups and channels and use these hangouts to legitimize their hate and sexism and racism. I have been on the end of progressive channels defending gamergaters they have hangouts with on the basis that it could not be proved that specific gamergator engaged in the things the group has been thoroughly documented as doing and still do to this day. Yet we are going to hop on all over Lacey Green for doing something I've seen too much of the progressive community do far too often. How does that work? Note, I agree with everything you and Captain Andy said about the Lacey Green video, but I also think it's true of any progressive who chooses to do hangouts or video debates with these monsters. Well, you're not wrong. The distinction I would draw between what Kevin or Christy or Mike Rowlands or Demotivator or other people do and what Lacey Green is doing is that even though Kevin and Christy and company will talk to those people and will go on their hangouts and will even occasionally host hangouts on their own channels for some of those people, they never, and they are polite to them. You know, they treat them like guests, or they act as guests when they're on their channels, and they try to make it as civil as possible. But they never claim that they're anything other than awful people. And
that's the difference. They're still bad people. They still disagree with Steve Shives. So they're still bad people. And any consideration to the contrary is heresy, according to you. Isn't it, Steve?
They never make excuses for them. And I understand what you're saying, that even engaging with them, even interacting with them at all is an act of legitimization and has the effect of making these people look like they're reasonable or that they ought to be spoken to with respect or whatever. And I completely get that. But what Lacey Green is doing is basically denying that these are bad people. I've never seen Kevin or Christy or any of the other folks that you're probably talking about deny that these are bad people.
And that's the difference. You can talk to them, but you have to still accept that people like Jeff Holiday or Blair White are still bad people in the end. That's the biggest thing, right?
Deny that they're dangerous. Deny that...
How are they dangerous, Steve? Oh, fuck. They're dangerous. Yeah, they make fucking YouTube videos. Oh, they're dangerous. Oh, you fucking lunatic.
That they're harmful. Lacey is doing that. Lacey seems to be basically pretending that the people she's talking to, who are just awful, who are some of the worst of the worst, she seems to be just pretending that there's nothing wrong with what they do. That it's just a difference of opinion. You know, being a member of a hate group is just a difference of opinion, and we just need to build bridges, and we'll reach a better understanding, and then everybody will get along. That's all this is. It's just...
Was it just me, or was Steve scratching his nose there, right there, kind of seem indicative of a cocaine habit? Whatever.
It's disagreement. She's doing that. I don't see Christy and Kevin and that group of which I'm a part.
The cult in which you're a part, including like dock droppers like Christy Winters and fucking Jenny McDermott. Yeah, I kind of notice that you don't bring up Jenny because she's much worse than Christy. Like, at least Christy kind of tries to hide her tracks. Jenny doesn't. Jenny comes right out and says, "Oh, Armored Skeptic's full name is Gregory, whatever the fuck. He lives in Ontario, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, I know. That's not something that people don't know about our Armored Skeptics. So don't go pointing the doxing finger at me.
Doing that. I don't see them saying, "Oh, these aren't such bad guys." Now, they do interact with them. They do engage with them. I personally think that that's a waste of time in most cases, and I don't do it under any circumstances.
Oh, believe me, we know you don't do it at all. Your behavior is indicative of someone who is legitimately afraid of dissent. At least that's what I take away from it, Steve.
But I do think that there is very definitely a distinction between what Lacey Green is doing and what Christy and Kevin, etc., are doing. That's just me, and I think you probably disagree, Omar. But on a personal level, as far as my own conduct, I am completely in agreement with you.
Of course.
Corey Donaldson, is it really necessary to respond to a hateful comment on a Facebook post or a YouTube video, even though you feel very fired up and want to verbally kick the ass of the hateful commenter? Well, that's up to you, of course. I never think it's necessary, actually. And usually if a comment...
Why doesn't that surprise me? I never think it's necessary to respond to anyone who is considered hateful. I'm very curious to know what Steve Shives would consider hateful. I would be very interested to know that.
Is really like vitriolic and really aggressive and hostile. I don't.
Which is dissent in general to you, or so you have demonstrated in the past.
Respond to it at all. The only time I respond to such comments is when I have thought of a response of my own that is just too clever in my mind.
I've never seen an example of that, although I'm sure you've made lots of responses in the past before, Steve, but I've never seen that. You just block people left, right, and center
to resist, and I just have to say something. But usually, even if it really pisses me off, I don't respond to those types of comments because, as I was saying earlier in my answer when talking about Umar's question in the very first question, I think attention and engagement is what people like that want. They want you to talk to them.
Oh, how dare they! How dare people with disagreeing opinions want to have a conversation with people who disagree with them? Oh, nasty, nasty.
So if you ignore them, or better yet, if you block them or delete their comment, oh, that's not what they want. They don't like that.
See, Steve, I wouldn't include this question in this video if it wasn't for that comment, what you just said. I don't see a problem with blocking people from time to time. But the thing is, you do it to everybody. I mean, even PewDiePie was blocked by you. And you responded, sorry, I didn't mean to block you. And to which he responded, that's okay, keep blocking, Dad. Now, I'm willing to bet, since the whole controversy with PewDiePie has unfolded, that you have since blocked him. I'm willing to bet that. Because that would not surprise me in the least. I'm just, using your previous behavior to determine what you were doing. And the best indication of future behavior is past behavior.
So that's what I do. Jeremy Miller, are there any good reasons to watch an anti-feminist video or channel? No.
Is there any good reasons for a Christian to read the Satanic Bible? No. My God.
No, there is not a single good reason
I just fucking love that huge ass grin on his face.
to watch an anti-feminist video. For the same reason that there's no good reason to watch a flat earther's video or a creationist's video or a KKK member's video or a neo-Nazi's video or a video from a member of any other hate group.
What about amusement? I mean, I watch, I have watched Flat Earthers videos before. I think they're fucking hilarious. And what I get out of them is amusement. I mean, you have to amuse yourself. You do, or otherwise you just go crazy.
Oh God, he just compared anti-feminists to the KKK. Yes, they're a hate group. They're an anti-woman, sexist, misogynist hate group. And there's no reason to pay attention to them at all.
Or at least you want everyone to not pay any attention to them. If you had it, Steve, you have said this before, that you would delete the YouTube channel of everyone who makes anti-feminist videos. If you could. You have said this repeatedly, over and over and over again. So you are appointing yourself as the censor to decide what other people can and cannot watch. Who the fuck made you the head of the Stasi?
So no, there's no reason to watch any of their videos.
What the hell?
Jordan P. Hey Steve, a not so serious question. I notice anti-feminists say feminism is cancer a lot.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Why is that, Steve? Shouldn't feminism be more of a Libra, balance and harmony? Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it just goes to show what I was saying in last week's video, and I will happily reiterate it here, and that is anti-feminists don't know shit about feminism. They talk shit about something that they don't understand.
Yeah, no. Anti-feminists know a lot more about feminism than you do, Steve. That's the thing. You see, I used to be a Christian. I became a Christian, like, when I was about, 23, 24. I kind of went full retard, and I was effectively an atheist before, although I would never call myself that. When I was 23 or 24, I went full retard and became a Christian up until I was like 28 or so. Now, the interesting thing about that is when I became an atheist, I went through this I fucking hate religion phase, which I still kind of am in, although I'm not nearly as bad as I was. Like, I've gotten over it. Is I learned more about Christianity when I became an atheist than I ever did as a Christian. Explain that to me. You're basically doing the same thing here. You're claiming you're a feminist, although you actually don't know anything about what feminism really is doing these days. You're completely oblivious. Either you're oblivious or you're agreeing with the retarded terrorist tactics that feminists are using these days. Which I think it's, you agree with the vast majority of the tactics that feminists are using these days, although it could be wrong. Although I also think that this opinion of yours is also influenced by your wife and your desire not to have her leave your ass. Because you're right. It's not a Cancer. It's a Libra. It's all about balance and equality. That's a great, that's actually really clever. I really like that. Feminism isn't Cancer. It's a Libra. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I hope that catches on. I'd say Cancer is more like a Scorpio, the crazy, psychotic, possessive kind. And that's it. That's all I had to write. And that's it. That's all I had to write today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Talon out.